So there you go, I know I have to stop there, but I'm placing base defences and doing my best, and I thought, right, I'm pushing it. My ore truck is helping. Very good, it did a good job there. You can see I'm placing structures.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game. This is on Timian map. And this is one of my last games that I've played today. And I think this is about the 8th game I've played, and I've had a bit of a rough day on Red Alert today. I've managed to get beaten every time, except for once. So I'm going to post this one of my most recent battles, and I'll post another one of my games that I fought today. But you know, sometimes this happens. You can't win them all, and sometimes you just end up getting beaten down repeatedly. So I'll show you how this one goes, and I'll post 2 games. Now I've sent my engineer straight for the oil derrick. So I'll leave it as a surprise which of the 2 games I'm going to post is my win. Just so there's some uncertainty for you and I'm not giving it away. But yeah, you know, I've had a rough day. And I thought I'd have a day on Red Alert and, like, you know, get back on form. And it's just, well, it's been brutal, put it that way. So I'm going with the standard build order. It looks like my opponent is as well, but they've got a kennel. So there's a small group of infantry. I'm not paying full attention and playing at my full skill level. You know, at the moment, but I'm doing my best, but look at this. This is just nothing. I know he's got a dog with it, but big whoop. I should be able to deal with things like this. Look, there's nothing there. Still. There you go, I'm distributing my troops. My opponent has got his engineer, he's captured his first oil derrick, I've captured my second. So I did have time to send more rifles, but you know, he's escorting them well. But one good way of hunting engineers is to move up behind the direction they're heading in. So, say, send a rifleman this way, down here, and then either wait here for a bit, or send him up in this direction to catch the engineer from the back. It's often one of the best ways, especially if your opponent's escorting engineers well. And I've got my rifle guards spread out. And a small group, I'm building my scout vehicle. I've got my engineer safe, so I've got 2 oil derricks each. Got the war factory. Both building our 3rd refinery. Let's look at the early army values. This is actually useful for me as well, because I'm paying attention and I'm going to try and spot what I'm doing wrong and the mistakes I'm making, because yeah, I'm just not on form. But there's a few reasons why. Look, he nearly caught my engineer out with a single little rifleman. Nearly lost my engineer. That would have been great. I'd have been like, ah, right. And look, the dogs are going ahead. So it should have been shot by now. And I'm trying to keep my army out of the view range of the enemy, so that when he tries to kill the engineer, he bumps into this lot. But it looks like he's sending his APC in the perfect direction. And I'm close. Close, close, close. Not good enough. There you go, Peter. Have that. So I'm destroying it. He's destroyed my second oil derrick. I've destroyed his second one. So we're even, except that I'm assuming my opponent has got his engineer still. So there you go. He's in his APC. So about 100th of a second, I missed out there. As you can tell, it's not my day. But the situation's fine. It's all right. No reason to panic at this point. You know, it's all right. I've still got some rifle guards left in position. And I thought I'd try and investigate the enemy base, and he's well ahead of me. Not getting in this way, not getting in this way. I should have moved around the edge of the map. That's what I need to do, get to the edge of the map more. I'm staying in the centre and trying to focus all my strength in one place. Now that's not good, because your opponent can just smash the back end of your base. So yeah, I need to pay attention. to all the replays. All the games I'm playing, you see, it's important to watch your replays, and it's more important to watch your losses than it is to watch your wins. Yeah, it's always great to look at your wins and see where you did well and where you make the right choices, but it's more important and more useful to watch your losses, and I've got a fair few to get watching through today, but you know, I can do it at the same time as casting it, as posting it, commentating. I can watch some of them at the same time. But we've both got our first heavy tank, by the looks of it. My opponent's got his second one trained. He's slightly ahead. Now I've got my opponent's got an expansion set up and a barracks. Now I've got 4 at my home base. My opponent's got 3. So he's got a slightly different build order somehow. Now I'm building a power plant. I need to place this. I'm getting delayed, and now you see my opponent's taken the centre of the map. And he's got a strong force there protecting it, although it's right in front. You know, a skilled player would detonate those barrels and make him regret it. But you see, I'm sending a rifle ahead. That's good. Now I know he's there, so I'm trying to get all my vehicles in position, and it's a good time to hit him. There, look, he's legging it. Good. So that wasn't too bad. I'm trying to get my APC out of the way, look. So I don't want to lose it. And at this point, look how vulnerable this is. There's a mistake for you. Yeah, I've got base defences, but that's not where he's going to attack from. He's going to go round the back and hit my ore field and wait at the side. So there you go. I know I have to stop there, but I'm placing base defences and doing my best. And I thought, right, I'm pushing it. My ore truck is helping. Very good. He did a good job there. And see, I'm placing structures and trying to place base defences and win. And my opponent, we're gonna, yeah, look, I'm doing okay for army value. I'm slightly ahead. Now, there you go, look. Losing base defences quickly. Not good. And my opponent's got them. I've got no vehicles up front, but my opponent hasn't either. He's got his tank there. Now, come on, keep going. Now, look how weak my forces are. We've got 3,000. We're really pushing it here. Both placing barracks. Both bringing everything we can. There's nothing... Yeah, we're not committing anything else anywhere. So, yeah, this is it. Proper clash. There we go. I'm starting to tip in my favour slightly, position-wise, because I've got 2 flame towers. He's got 1. It's so close. Get away from those flame towers. That's it. But look, we are really struggling here. But what I'm trying to do is overrun the construction yard, and I was also thinking about training an engineer to start capturing the construction yard, because then he can't build base defences, but he tried to get away, and you know, that's as good. I mean, in fact, obviously, I'd rather capture it, but, you know, destroying it, that will do. But I'm losing infantry again. We're even on 3,000. My opponent's slightly ahead, but I've got 2 tanks on site. And I'm too far away from my defences, look. I can't place structures further forward. Now I've got a war factory up front. 3 heavy tanks. 4,000 army value each. This is still a close struggle. Now I'm placing structures and defences. Trying not to distribute my assets too much. You see, he's got forces in 2 places. And there's some rocket troops there. He can kill my tanks. It's very good. And he's backing off his Ys too. And I'm pushing forward into his view range. This is all within the enemy's view range, this. This is what my opponent can see. All my units. This is what I can see. I'm struggling. Let's check on power. Both okay. My opponent's moving ahead in army value now. And he's still expanding, but I am as well, although that's not set up. Although I did consider it. I've obviously got my hands full. Now I'm falling back, and my opponent's racing ahead. He's got 3 times the army value, so I know this isn't going to work. So I'm trying to move away from where the fight is and kill his power plant. I'm trying to do something. Because I know you shouldn't do this. Look how many flame towers I've built. He's not pushing through at the moment, obviously, but... I shouldn't be doing this. I've got to fall back and think of something else, do something else. At least I got a construction yard. My opponent's got 1 now. I've got 2. There you go. I finally remembered. And I've got should have another expansion. There's something ready to place. It should be a refinery now. Hurry up. Look, my opponent's happily expanding. Why have I forgotten? It's because I'm trying to kill the power plant, look. There you go, I did that. My flame towers are working. There you go. Not bad. Not enough infantry to make use of my tank advantage. Now, place that. Let's see, that's... Nah, it was a power plant, of all things. That's pathetic. But it looks like my opponent's made an error in advancing there. Flame towers are going to burn him. Come on, kill them all. Wipe them out. Now his flamethrowers. I couldn't afford flamethrowers. The only incinerators I've got are flame towers. Now my opponent's got 10,000 army value, I've got 2,000. So I've realised now that, you know, it's a problem. This is an issue. And there's still nothing up there. There you go, just placed a refinery. After all that time, you know, and now my opponent's sending very small groups of units to attack my economy because I can't even win the fight here. I'm just trying to hold him off. But he's done the smart thing and backed away. Why attack that? Just leave me to it. I've got a 2,000 army value. There's nothing really... I don't know if he's aware of that, but now he's sending single units, look. So, yeah, this isn't looking good. There's an MCV that my opponent's got 2 again. Now, I've got 2 war factories, but it hasn't done it. I've got my radar dome, and there's nowhere to use my thieves at the moment. But that's what I'm thinking of. Now I've moved my ore trucks away from here because my enemy's got a tank, and I've sent a couple of rocket soldiers and they're still not going to attack it. But here we go, look. My opponent's moving forward and I'm trying to target this power plant. No way near. 5,000 army value to me, 17,000 to my opponent. So I've moved some more trucks here, but I knew it was going to be a short amount of time that I could mine from there because he's pushing with Tesla coils and that. So I should have destroyed that power plant with my flame towers. Some of them were on attack anything stance. But I've sent 2 tanks looking for an expansion, the enemy's expansion, and I'm falling back with my MCV. And sending these 2 tanks to attack my opponent's expansion while I've got 2 thieves heading in the same direction. This tank... I kept it alive, but... yeah, messed it up. It's nearly dead. Right, so I've got 2 thieves on the way, and I saw my opponents attacking here. This is bad. There, I've sold my refinery. I've got nothing to stop my opponent. And this, look how vulnerable this is. There's nothing to stop it. He could take that with an engineer. There's my thieves on their way, and my tanks have had to move on because my opponent's got a heavy tank and a couple of rocket troops, so these tanks should have moved on. They're looking for this ore truck, but my opponent's dealing with them. And I've got a very small force. Altogether, it could probably resist this, but they're not in position. There's my thieves, and my tanks have moved up here, look. Still on the go, and there you go, my opponent's attacking. He's destroyed my refinery, now my war factory. And I'm trying to make a stand using tanks or trucks. Well, I haven't got enough infantry to fight that. Nothing. Look, he's destroying my tanks and I'm not firing back. So that's not how you play it. I was just quickly rushed in to try and defend what assets I had, and there's a tank for the enemy destroying my ore trucks over here in the top. So there's my infiltration. I got 2, so my opponent's got 0 cash, I've got 5,000 now, and I've got these 2 tanks heading for my opponent's expansion in the middle, so they've made a nice bit of a nuisance of themselves. But my opponent's got my home base now, so this MCV's running. I've given all this lot up, given it up. As soon as it gets attacked, I'm going to sell it. So all this is done. Maybe I shouldn't just discount it like that and give it up, but yeah, what can I do? What I'm decided is to make a stand somewhere else. So there's my 2 tanks. I'm attacking a power plant. I should have trained a thief or 2, but I had the cash. But this is I need a barracks over here to start building units. But when that... Yeah, now they're getting to my radar dome. That's it. All trucks are nearly all destroyed. Got 2 left. And that's that. Crippled. My tanks have been destroyed because I've obviously... My attention wasn't on them to keep them moving. And now my opponent's going to finish this lot off. Because he knows I'm here, he's used 1 tank to destroy it. So I've placed a flame tower to defend it. Then there you go, it's done. I've sold that refinery. Now that's going to move out. There you go. And I've got this expansion where I'm making a stand in the bottom corner. Let's have a look at my opponent. I've got 7,000, but I can't spend it quick enough. I've got 1,000 army value. My opponent's got 25,000 army value. So his army is 25 times the size of my army. And I'm still fighting. Look at that. Yep. Frag 'em. No. Not very good. There, look, I'm trying to set up another expansion, and that's that. I've got an ore truck, and this one here, this one's moved up and down a bit, trying to head to the best expansion to do some mining. There you go, I'm defending my base. This is retreating. Power plant's in trouble, under a large attack. And, I don't know if he's spotted that yet, but what would it matter? Really, if he hadn't, what does it matter? So there you go, beaten, and that's the first game. But I tried, and that's the theme for the day. But I'll go through the graphs and charts and stuff. There's the army graph, and I was doing okay at first. Although when the first proper engagement started, my opponent was slightly ahead, and then his army value just skyrocketed compared to mine that never really recovered. It's just a shame I've got some cash and 2 construction yards left. It's just a shame, you know, because it's a shame to go out with such effective assets, such useful assets. It's a shame. But there's the army graph, shows you the beating that I took. And there's the earnings graph, fairly even until I start to lose more. Whereas my opponent manages to maintain an economy. Although I did disrupt it a little bit with those 2 tanks. But there you go, there's another stand here, look. And my MCV is running. Still fighting. Still fighting. Still... Oh, there you go. When you discovered that, I called it. Yeah, that was the end for me. And there you go, there's the earnings graph. And my army... Finishing army for my opponent. He's got some heavy tanks, plenty of troops, so he did well. It was a proper beating. He did well there. Let's have a look at the combat chart. Not too bad actually for... Yeah, well actually, yeah. But my opponent's got 32,000 army value. I lost 45 structures, brilliant. And my opponent lost 15. I killed 288 units, my opponent killed 281, so at least I've got that going for me. It wasn't so bad. But I destroyed 67,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets, but my opponent destroyed 95,000 credits worth of my assets, so it reflects accurately how the battle went. I did okay, and did some damage, held him off for a bit, but then took a kicking, basically, so that shows you, there's the 30 grand difference, roughly. And... there's no support powers in effect, although I did have I'd had my radar dome and built a couple of thieves that actually earned me a nice bit of cash. But I was about to place an airfield, I had it ready to place, and then things went bad for me, so I cancelled it. But I would have had support powers for a little bit, it's just I didn't end up placing that airfield. I couldn't afford to build the planes anyway. Yeah, it wasn't good, but my opponent's got 12 ore trucks, and he's hung onto his oil derrick over here. And I earned 109,000, my opponent earned 137,000. Basics, I was at 32 actions per minute, my opponent was at 62 actions per minute. My score was 766, my opponent's score was 940, so yeah, he did very well. Very good, well played to him. And I'm going to go to a second replay now, one of my other games from today. So let's have a look. We'll go for this one. This is my third game of the day, I think.
Initialized.
And this is a 1v1. I joined this player's game, and it's on Bad Company map. I'm using Russia, and my opponent's using England. And I don't think I know. I don't think I've used this map myself. I don't think I've posted a replay using it. I could be wrong. Maybe one or two that I may have forgotten about. But I don't know this map. I haven't used it a lot myself, if at all. But I'm in the red, my usual red, and I've sent a rifleman, and I'm training my engineer. There's 2 oil derricks on this map. Basic positions. So it's a matter of securing the oil derrick first and hunting for the enemy's engineer. Now, he should have... Yeah, would he have... He wouldn't have been able to make it, I don't think. Not quite, no. My opponent's got his engineer covered now. I am sending my rifles, look. There, I've captured my oil derrick. My opponent's captured theirs as well. And their engineer's off on a mission. He's actually judged where the construction yard is nicely, but you've got no hope. Look at that, nearly found him, and then decided not. And yeah, too slow. That's why I'm looking for the engineer, in case he went back this way. So, yeah, not quite. Took a couple of shots and bounced straight back. But I've got no one to defend my base, but I'm sending rifles now to cover, just in case of engineers or grenadiers. My opponent's England, obviously, but it's still best to get into the habit of protecting your base. And there's my rifle hunting engineers, and he's realised that my opponent's captured it, and the engineer isn't there, but there's another one here. Another engineer. So here's the first one, and he's been found by my rifleman before he's even spotted anything. Let's see. Yeah, he spotted a refinery, but big whoop. Now this engineer, nah, that's a waste of credits, and he's giving me veterans for nothing. My opponent's placed 3 refineries without placing a war factory. I've got 2, and I've placed my war factory. Let's just track the economy, watch the difference at first. We've both earned 6,000. And these rocket soldiers need to turn back quickly. There you go. Nice. And there's the engineer. He should be okay. This rifleman won't spot him, but he's not going to make it in there. Surely. No way. I've got my scout vehicle. My opponent has not placed... I've got 0 cash. My opponent's got the same amount of ore trucks. My opponent's earned 10,000 now. I've earned 8.9. My opponent's got 3,000 as well. There you go. There's the engineer who's just been shot. Not going to accomplish anything with lone engineers. So I've still got mine here. My engineer is still alive. And I've got a small force. We've basically left 1 oil derrick each. But my opponent's got a decent force there. Let's have a look at the early army values. 5,000 each. Not bad. My opponent's placed his war factory and he's got a scout vehicle now. They've gone for a light tank. 6,000 army value each. My opponent's slightly ahead. Sending out scout rifles, look. Although this part of the map is unguarded. I'm not scouting properly. This half, obviously, I'm thinking of sending my MCV over in this direction and protecting it as best I can. But you still need scouts over in this direction. There you go, there's my MCV. And scout rifles have managed to miss the enemy. Yeah. There we go. Trying to set up my first expansion. My opponent, nah, he's way behind for building an MCV. Let's check the economy again. 5 ore trucks each. I've earned more by a couple of grand, so 3 refineries first. Nah, I'm not buying it. You need that scout vehicle early. It's good having it as early as possible. I mean, you can go for a war factory first build, but you won't have the infantry mass as well when you do first have your vehicle. I've sent my home base MCV north to this expansion. Excuse me. Oh, yawning. Blimey. But I've not had to send it very far, and that's so it's fairly safe, but I can also set up an expansion. And I'm moving a small army forward here. Let's have a look at the army values at this point. 13,000 to me, 11,000 to my opponent, so I'm ahead. I'm getting my engineer inside the APC by the looks of that. And I've dealt with 2 light tanks here. And my opponent's turned back with his MCV. But I did spot that. I'm chasing it, look. And I'm bringing my MCV. And the APC and engineer. There we go. Yeah, that MCV's going to a different location. Yeah, he's setting up there instead, which is fair enough. Now, I've got my force here. That APC's got the engineer inside. I've brought my MCV, but I'm attacking ahead of it, and there's artillery, look. My opponent hasn't got tanks, but he's got artillery, so I'm backing off straight away. I saw a big horde of infantry, so my MCV has to escape. And I'm losing units. Now, set the MCV up because I badly needed support for my units, but there's not a lot here, look. And I wanted to escape with the MCV and ordered it that way, and it went this way, look. So I've lost my second MCV, lost a power plant, having to fall back, and I thought, right, this isn't going well, and I'm not pleased. That was a bit of a mistake. It was like sloppy. Yeah, I've got plenty of ore trucks harvesting. And what's my opponent doing? I thought with them pushing me back here that they would set up an expansion straight away, but obviously they chose to set one up here instead. But they should be bringing their home base MCV out, so they've got more expansion locations. And my opponent's at 12,000 army value, I'm at 17, even after that loss. And me falling back, losing an MCV. You see, I'm sending out scout rifles again straight away. So, you know, I've seen that my opponent's got units in the same place. So I'm attacking over here, and I thought my entire force I wanted to attack somewhere else. And then I was worrying about having to defend here. So I thought, now my opponent's seen these units here, and I'm attacking, I thought that's going to draw his units to defend this. It's important to him. So that's why I sent this army back down here, just in case he sent his main army to attack, but if he doesn't, he's going to send it up here to respond. That was my judgment. And it's, you know, I've driven off his ore trucks. That's nicely done that he's saved them. Very good. And it's not a very strong force, but my engineer is in that APC. And there you go. I'm capturing the construction yard, so he can't build base defences, but he's just built a helicopter. And he shot the engineer. That was very nicely done. So I'm going to have to destroy the MCV now. And my opponent has sent his entire army to respond. So I'm destroying the construction yard. Taking heavy fire, but these guys have got to leg it quickly. That's it. So now I'm drawing my opponent's entire army out of position. I knew it would work, so I'm sending everything just to smash him now, and I'm bringing my MCV as well. I've got a second one again, so I've replaced my losses. Now these need to hurry up. That's idle. But I've got my APC to escape, and these 3 rifles, they've drawn the enemy entirely out of position. So now I'm attacking here. I've got my radar dome. And my opponent's army is going to arrive bit by bit. Look, it's a move command, so it's even been distracted here, look, by 3 riflemen. And he's still in move command. He's still taking fire. That's shocking. That's a mistake. And now I've got thieves because I've placed a barracks close to the front line. So my opponent's at 10,000 army value, I'm at 24. And let's have a look at the economy. I've got 6,000, my opponent's got 2.5. So I've got thieves heading for the enemy refineries, but I've got to destroy this army. I just have to. And there's my first infiltration. That's nice. My opponent's got 3 grand. So there's another 1.5. And I'm trying to secure these refineries. But there's another over 1 grand. Very nice. Good timing. And my opponent's still moving up to 2 grand cash. So it's still worth infiltrating. Now I'm destroying his power plants. I've overrun his main army. But these helicopters, look, they're chopping up a lot of rocket soldiers. That's a lot of value they've just destroyed. But I've wiped them out. And when I saw helicopters, I was getting flak trucks built. As soon as I saw them. And I've got an engineer that's gonna do the chokehold while more thieves do infiltrations. So there's another 2,600 while I'm attacking his main expansion. And he can't sell the refinery because I'm using the capture. Here's another infiltration. There's another 1,900. So I'm up to 16,000 now. And I've got the capture on 2 refineries while I'm overrunning this position. There's nothing else, nothing threatening my base. And my opponent's got an attack here, but he's called it because I destroyed that tank. So there you go, there's game 2. I did have flak trucks, look. As soon as you see enemy, there's 3, in fact. So as soon as you see enemy helicopters or artillery, it's better. I mean, artillery was there earlier. But definitely air units, you need flak trucks. Straight away, because you destroy them before they start to build up enough numbers of air units that they can start moving around your base and destroying refineries and power plants. You don't want that. You want to destroy their air forces before they can build any up, enough of them to be a problem. But there you go, there's 1 game I managed to win today. So I'll go through the army graphs and charts for you. That looked like it was quite even, actually. I bet that was the first engagement where I took those losses. And had to leg it like a spanked monkey running away. Right, there's the army graph. Look at that drop at the end. Yeah, my opponent collapsed, but it happens. There's the earnings. Look at that. My opponent had a really high climb in his earnings. Very nice in his income. That's good. But he didn't do well up to then, sadly. And I ended up with loads of cash. So I did okay for earnings that game. I've got a few heavy tanks, a few flak trucks, a couple of engineers and some basic infantry. I've actually got 20 rockets to 40 rifles, so that's a solid collection of infantry, that is. And I've got a 19,000 army value. My opponent lost 17 structures, I lost 2. My opponent killed 150 units, I killed 114. My opponent destroyed 31,000 credits worth of my assets. I destroyed 49,000 credits worth of their assets. No support powers in effect, although I do have my radar dome and I use thieves. I got lots of cash out of those thieves. Lots of cash. And I'm still building thieves and heavy tanks. That's nice to see. It's always nice to be able to use thieves just to rip your opponent's economy apart while you hold them in place with the engineer, get the chokehold in effect, pin them down so they can't breathe, and then infiltrate with the thieves and just rip them off. So my opponent earned 65,000, I earned 93,000, and I've got 17,000 cash now. That's no surprise. And I've held on to my oil derrick. Basics, my opponent was at 26 actions per minute, I was at 28 actions per minute. There's your scores, and I was just in low power, so I'm guessing I would, well, basically I'd switch the power supply off to the radar dome. And then I'd be in normal power mode again. I probably just placed 1 too many flame towers. Oh no, it would have been captures from the refinery. Those captures and placing base defences meant that I overloaded the power supply. But there you go, there's the second game for you. I hope you enjoyed those 2 games. If you did enjoy them, give us a sub and a like. And thank you very much for watching. Take good care of yourselves. And until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.